Whoops.
We're on.
We're on. Hey.
It's been a while.
It has been.
Ain't seen you in a year.
I know it has been a year. Yes, it was 2023 last time I saw you.
I'm telling you.
Gracious me, look, and you're looking pretty good, Scott.
You do, Butch.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you. Hope all of you out there are looking pretty good.
Hope y'all have a great new year, everybody.
Yep. Well, we had a good one. Y'all have a good one?
Sure. Stayed home and was in bed by 10 o'clock.
All right.
Great.
My kind of New Year's Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't even watch the ball drop on TV. But that's okay.
I watched it, but it was the next day on tape,
Right.
video.
Rewind.
Anyway, which hope everybody's cranking out to start a really successful 2024, and we're going to do everything we can to follow your fine examples. I do want to give out some, I guess they all do, what happened at the end of the year in review and stuff they do. So by way of that, I need to say thank you to my book editor and my technician and Second Wind and our official computer everything person who helps us with our sound and everything. All you folks that watched us last year, I just appreciate you taking your time to spend it with us, and I hope everything we did last year somewhere along the line was helpful with something. And with that, we're going to try and continue just like that, eh, Scott?
Yep. Keep on keeping on.
Yeah, keep on keeping on. So
New year. New commitments.
New announcements.
New announcements.
Yep.
New directions.
New directions, and we're going to direct. We've got. I think people know about K9 Pro Sports. We've sort of been dormant for a couple of years, and like everything has been. But we're getting, now that people are stirring, we're starting to get more and more interest. Mm-hmm. And we're going to schedule a spring show. We're making it far enough out we can get prepared and actually do it this time, do it right. And we've got a lot of folks, I say a lot, we've got several folks from far away and nearby that are asking about it. So we thought we'd explain a little bit about how it works. It's I guess it's the only internationally recognized protection certification system that there is still to this day. It's the only American invented protection competition sport that's got international participation. By that I mean, when we did our finals, we had people from 8 to 10 different countries that were coming to the U.S. to compete in our championships. So, it was set up. We had this sort of a rodeo system where you had when you travel around, circuit. We had circuits that people traveled and they earned points, and the top 15 of each division would come to our finals. We borrowed a lot from rodeo, since that's my first competition that I was ever dealing with. We had big old shiny silver belt buckles that had the Pro Sport logo right in the middle of it. And you can engrave your name, the year you won. It says champion 19 and whatever, 2000 and such and such. So we did a few things a little uniquely. We paid back cash money at every trial, which was really unique. There's never been, I think we would copy a lot of clubs would come to Pro Sports trials, get an idea about how to do some of the exercises, and then they do little local trials for their, for their customers and such. But I don't think any of them ever wanted to give any of the money back.
Yeah.
So you're gonna compete, right? You're agitating and.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably do in obedience. My doberman in the obedience division, but I'll be working the protection side of it. I won't have no dogs in there.
Okay.
I don't think so anyway.
All right. Okay. You can, and we got rules about all that stuff. An agitator can have a dog in a trial.
Mm-mm.
A judge can't. If you're one of our judges, you couldn't. If you judge a show 1 year, you can't. Speaking of your dog.
Yeah. Hope y'all will enjoy that. He's singing to us.
Yeah. If you judged a show in 1 year, you couldn't compete. And if you already competed in a trial, you couldn't. If you were a certified judge, you couldn't judge. Anyway, we did a lot of things like that because we got so big that we needed more and more rules to keep it honest, for lack of a better word. So here's some explanation. I mean, here's a little. One of the first things that came after we started doing pro sports, that all sorts of dog competitions started springing up, right? And you had the biggest one was Sonny Henniger in California had the National American Protection Dog. I forget what it was, but they had quite a good routine. He had a police officer working with him on the scenarios. We did a few trials. I guess you'd say together, where they did a Saturday trial and then we did a Sunday pro sports trial and things of that nature. And their hook, their unique thing was, real life is not a pattern, so we're going to do all surprise exercises. And it sounds pretty good, but that was never where we were at with pro sports, because with pro sports you can win. There's two different ways you can win. You can win the trial you're in, but then you're also earning points towards the certification. Now, at our peak, when we had enough trials to go to, you had, just like all the kennel clubs, you don't get an obedience title in the AKC when you go to one show and get so many points. You've got to go to 3 trials and show under 3 different judges and score a minimum such and such, okay? That's to keep everybody honest. That's to make sure that the show you go to isn't the one that your brother-in-law is doing the judging at, okay? So we had the same system in pro sports where people would travel to get to different trials, and, paying back the money helped. We had one trial in Dallas where a gentleman named Lewis Williams out of California had a dog now. I think his dog was Quick, a hell of a dog, and Lewis was a heck of a dog trainer. Took home $3,500, paid his trip. So we did all these things, and the surprise factor, because I'd been in Schützen world, been on the fringes of French ring, and I did not, remember when I was asked to come up with a trial, it was to be for street-worthy personal protection dogs. And like all these people doing surprise scenario stuff, life throws surprises at you. Why get a pattern? So that was a challenge. And the first one, after thinking about it, because we spent several years developing all this, our score sheets reflected. It dawned on me what's different is when you have, no matter what you're doing, when the pattern's going to be sit, stay, heel, and down, fast pace, slow pace, stay, essentially. If you're doing a surprise scenario at every trial, or every trial is different, how do you know if your dog's gotten any better?
You don't.
That's the way I was thinking. I really don't know if he's improved. So, but the surprise thing is good. We don't want a pattern.
Right.
So what we came up with was, especially on your obedience, if we get, these are our score sheets. You got a place for the judge's name, the handler, the dog's name. This is your obedience section, and each exercise, every left turn, right turn, they all have a point value. Your bites for your attacking. This is an old sheet. We changed it from bite to fight. Your out is judged, how quickly and how much control you get, how quickly you get the control. And every one of these elements has a point value. So if it finally figured out, what we can do is change up our obedience portion. Any club can set up these other scenarios with as much fluff and dressing as they want, as long as they meet these judging standards in that scenario. But for instance, Scott's got, which pattern you got, Scott?
I've got figure 8 on the obedience exercise for 100 points. I got the
First?
You want to see this?
Yeah, go come on.
You've got the
close in.
figure 8 to a left turn, fast pace walk, about turn, slow pace, return to heel, the right turn in, change position, stay from motion, the recall, the overall healing, and then distraction. So that's the you're going to be called off in that order, right?
Called off in that order.
That's your pattern right there.
Yeah. So what's your first three things to do?
My first 3 is figure 8, left turn, and fast pace. So
And
you
on-
do figure 8, left turn, and walk fast, right?
Right.
Right.
On this one, though, the first 3 things are fast pace, right turn, slow pace. So what we did to keep people from pattern training is we've taken elements of every one of the exercises and we mix them up. On the top right-hand corner of your score sheet, this one's got a number 4.
This one's a number 1.
Scott's got a number 1. Every one of these numbers indicate a different pattern, but with all the same elements that it takes.
It's all together. It's just thrown in different order, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So now you know if your dog's gotten better at this trial than he was at the last trial.
Because the next trial will be the same
Same
exercise,
elements. Same
but
elements.
you might get a 4 or 3 pattern instead of a 1 pattern.
Exactly.
And usually, do you go back and look at the dog that, if you can't last, you keep records,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
When the dog comes back and did a pattern 1, do you change the pattern? You probably want. I would want to.
Well, we
Or is it random?
it's all random.
Okay.
We do, again,
I got it.
little bit of a rodeo thing. Like for rodeo, you go and you pull the bull's names out or horse's name.
It doesn't matter though what the pattern is. It's all the same. They're all the same.
Right.
1 to 4, it's all the same moves. It's
just
different
order.
different sequence. So there's nothing different
No.
from one trial to the other.
If he's a well-trained dog and he's listening to his handler and the handler's working with his dog, it doesn't matter what order you put it in. And that way you know if you're improving at every trial. Because you're going to see, because the way dog trials are done, pretty much around the world, I think. I know in this country, I better stick to there. The judge watches you, looks at everything, and then at the end he stands up there and says, well, Buck Schmuck is the winner of this trial because his dog did this, that, and the other, and Sandy Dandy, well, her dog was slow here, but he was better there, and so this judge is telling you what he saw. Now, the way that works for the average dog sport competitor, I think, these are my opinions only, right? That judge is telling you what he saw. And what he saw, you didn't win squat.
Yeah.
So you're telling yourself, I don't know what he saw, but I don't agree with it because I know what I did and I was great. Right? So with this written score sheet, with a point value for the bite, the fight, aggression on the agitation, control after the bite. In other words, when in the attack work, your dog's going to protect you, go take out a decoy. Now, you're going to be told to get your dog to release, call him back to heel, and heel to a certain point. We're going to look and see, is your dog immediately calm and listening to you? Or is he still tugging at the leash to get back to maybe the equipment, maybe the man, who knows? So these are all the factors we've tried, and you can look right here. Civil agitation, you're alert. It's 10 points. If the judge at that moment in time saw a dog that he thought was not really very aggressive, he's going to put a 5, a 4. When you, at the end of the trial, when you get your score sheet that the judge has signed off on, you're not going to say, well, I don't think, he didn't see what I saw. You're going to look right here and see exactly what he saw when he saw it. You'll know that by the points he's putting down. And when we did, as we got bigger, we went from what we called a club trial. We always try to have 2 judges. The club trial could have one judge certified, but we always preferred if they would also have a local judge. That way we get hometown boy looking at hometown folks and a traveler coming in looking at everybody. And you can tell that sort of keeps, just in case that hometown judge got his brother-in-law in that trial, you know, he's got to worry about that other judge on the other side of the field. If he gives his brother-in-law a 10 and the other judge gives him a 3, and everybody gets a copy of gets their score sheet, somebody's going to wonder what the heck's going on. So I think it keeps everything real transparent, real open, and it's also a great training tool because you can go through this and go, oh, we also have these symbols at the bottom. And like on your healing, we've got little arrows that point up and point down. The judge, if in between time on the overall healing, he might put an arrow, 2 or 3 arrows pointing up or 1 pointing down. That means your dog was forging or he was lagging. Now you know when you get into training what your problem is. If in the bite work, he puts this little Z symbol over here, you can't see it. Can you close up on these, Carol Ann? Let me know when you're up a little bit.
Okay.
If you see this little symbol over here, it's like an extra Z or something. That means he was slow on the out. So now you need to work on your outs. You got this other symbol here, which is like a jaw-shaped thing with a line through it. That means the bite was really shallow. If your bite's really shallow, you know you need to get into your training program and get more prey drive into your dog to get that bite fuller, and maybe cut back a little bit on your defense. But you can get an actual picture of everything the judge saw with this score sheet. And with that picture, you're going to have a better dog. Now, I said you win a trophy, but then you can also win a certification. We've had, that I know of, in court in 2 different states, dogs whose pro sport certification, one qualified a Doberman actually to go into an apartment complex that didn't allow Dobermans. But he showed them this, and close up on that one, Carol Ann. And they said, oh, so he is professionally trained and he has met standards and certifications. The other one we had was a gentleman who saw something happening, if I remember right, it was in a park, and he, as a purse snatching or what it was, but he turned his dog loose on the guy who was beating up on this lady, and needless to say, they went to court over it. He brought his certification. Judge looked at that and said, and it just added to the guy's guilt. I think he was, charged with assault or something. So those are, Carol Ann.
Yes. Oh yeah, I already did it.
Oh, you already did it? Oh, okay. Oh, you're watching. Yeah, okay.
I gotta watch.
There's a technician we needed all year. Thank you, ma'am. So anyway, those are the fundamentals. We still do an entry fee. We'll have a split, just like you do in rodeo. So much of the fee goes back in the pot. If it's just a few people, it may be winner take all. The bigger it gets, the more places we pay. But this way, everybody gets, you know, at least a little pocket change when they're through. And you may get one of them big old shiny silver buckles once if we ever get back to doing a.
Yep.
And we've got some people, a couple of people talking about doing trials in other places. If we can get three trials up, and we know every one of these trials can send us 2 to 4 people, shoot, I'll call the old silver engraving place and see if we can't get some buckles made up.
Yep.
We might even do another championship at the end of the year. See how that goes. What else you think, Scott? What question would you have, or you think they ought to know about what we do?
I mean, my biggest thing to me would be, like, you know, I would want the sheet to see what's entailed. A lot of it is basically the bite work, not so much the obedience side, is what to do, you know, and how to do it.
Yeah.
And just do it, you know.
And
There's
it'll,
Some people may ask, when we come on, where do we stand? Like, how do we represent? Are we called in? There's a lot of questions that no one has ever done.
right.
That they're going to say, what do we do, and where do we go, and how do we approach?
No, once that trial is set up, you guys are set up, we'll have an itinerary of how to proceed during the trials with your dogs, and the rules about having dogs out and people walk around with dogs. That's a whole different deal there.
Yeah.
We have rules because it's, first of all, safety for the dogs and the people that are
right.
coming out here.
Right.
And then it's actually basically all sequenced out to make it flow as smoothly as possible.
Right. And every trial has a steward, and all you got to do if you have any questions is, you know, that's what the steward's there for, is to make sure you're ready to go. Here's the biggest difference between what we were trying to do in pro sports and what you might see in some sports. If you, like I said, you can't get better at something if you're doing something different every time you do it. You got to be consistent. This was set up originally to see if you had a true security or protection dog. That's the whole purpose. Everything is set up in a manner to make your dog do the best he can do. I like to think that anyone who brings their dog on the field at pro sports, when they leave that field, every dog will be a little bit better than he was when they showed up that day. We set our exercises in a certain order because in this order, the dogs, as we move into the bite work, are going to get more excited and more intent on taking out somebody. And that's what we really want to see. Is this dog capable of taking out a man? Not if, you know, he can take so many stick hits or listen to a clatter. And so everything is set up to build your dog's his own training, actually. What do you got, Carol Ann?
William Thornton said, will you be having 4 divisions?
Oh, thank you, Daryl. Thank you, Daryl. By the way, Mr. Thornton out of Forest, Mississippi, is going to want to be probably be our judge. Little background for anybody that knows Daryl but doesn't know him quite well. He has the highest obedience score ever scored in the Pro Sports Patrol Division. I was judging one side, and Hildy Taylor from Germany was judging the other side, and we both looked at each other and scratched our heads because we couldn't figure out how to take a point off the boy. He was perfect. So, Daryl, thank you for your question. Yes, we have 4 divisions based on pre-entries. So if you're going to be here, you need to let us know because we have a youth division. If you've got I think it was 12 and under. If we've had 6-year-old kids out there with big old tough street police certified canines, and we let the daddy would hold the leash, you know, and the kid barks the orders. So we have something for kids. We also have a puppy division, or training division. Pups from 9 months. We do 6 months and under, and 9 to 6. And then we have a training division because a lot of people want to kind of get their feet wet, see what it's like. So we do a training division, which is just an abbreviated, well, all of these are just abbreviated versions of the pattern we're doing. And hopefully that gets a slot for everybody, something they can all get their feet wet with, And I can't think of anything else.
Yep.
Can you?
Not really.
We get, thinking back to Daryl, and for background, Daryl's a 20, 25-year on the street canine handler, worked with some of the best and some of the toughest, and he's got Watchdog, DAWG, Watchdog Canine down in Forest, Mississippi, if anyone's looking for someone to train a good dog for them, or if they're looking to buy a good dog, I would strongly recommend Mr. Thornton. And actually, hopefully, maybe some of the old timers will give us a call once we get cranked up again, because what was that? We used to say we all have a meeting before the trial, right? Anybody got any questions? Anything we need to explain? Make sure it's all clear. Make sure everybody. And I would always finish that little meeting with one statement. There's only one thing you can do to guarantee you get disqualified. There's only one thing you can do that'll get you kicked off the field and out of the yard. And that's real simple. This is the rule. If you ain't having fun, you ain't staying here. That's it.
That's it.
So, we have the rule book available in a JPEG, PDF, XYZ, something online. If anyone wants a copy, you want to see what's, in that rule book, we have every scenario. We have the judging standards, so it's going to tell you exactly how the judges look at the dog, what they want to see in the dog. In other words, it'll play it all out for you so that you'll know exactly how you need to train that dog to make him the most effective. And everything we're doing, we're not asking you to train your dog to do something I think is cool, or Scott wants to see somebody else do it. Everything in that rule book and all the judging standards are designed to lead your dog to be an absolute man stopper, period. That's our only criteria for what we do.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And we're definitely not worried about pretty because you got me and Scott up here running things.
yeah. I think you was prettier than that.
Anyway, if anyone's got, like I said, you can call or email me if you want a copy of the rule book. I'll be glad to send it to anybody. You can learn a lot, and maybe this time next year you'll have one of these fancy things to hang on your wall. Show all your friends and neighbors. Till then.
We train on Saturdays.
Oh, that's right. Come out.
Yep. We're thinking about here towards middle of spring, going to the second day like we used to. But that way the temperatures and everything else dictates all that. But it's a good way to get out there and actually come out and bring your dog and see what it's all about. But actually you can start training your dog also and seeing, getting a feel for what the pro sports is all about.
Yeah. Right. We'll be doing training, and we'll add obedience to what we do on Saturdays. And anyone who wants to get entered, we'll do everything we can to make sure you're the winner.
Chicken dinner. But they say, it's been a new year and everybody's starting out, so let's start out with a bang or so, and let's get these dogs going.
Darren wants to know what day it is, the trial.
Right now, I'm pretty sure, Daryl, off the top of my head, it's the last weekend in April.
Okay.
It's either next to last or the very last. I will have it up, published on my webpage and on our Facebook page in a couple of days, and I will announce it next weekend. But I think it's the last weekend in April.
Yeah, last weekend in April. we'll see y'all there. We'll see y'all next week too, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, just take care of them, love on them, train them, and always remember it's all about the dogs, people. And we'll see you next week.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.